So it is Commlink time, as we have been doing every single Monday. And we're going to continue doing it every single Monday, except for maybe next Monday. Because it is my birthday next Monday, so we might do it on a different day next week. But the next week episode should be pretty good, because it's going to be a good topic. But first off, if you haven't come to a Commlink before, go grab yourself a drink. I am drinking something known as cordial. It is a mysterious drink. So yeah, if you haven't been to Commlink before, basically this is a conversation between me and you guys, discussing any and everything Star Citizen related. We've had a couple of episodes already. We did one on PvP. We did two on PvP. And then we also had to do the one last week, which was technically the first episode. We did all about... Holy crap, what was last week's episode about? That's terrible. I'm bad at this. I'm genuinely bad at this. Anyway, today's episode... balance, that's right. We were talking about balance last week. Today's episode, we're going to be talking all about missions. So, Star Citizen as a whole, I feel like the driving force of the game forever is always going to be missions. It's quests, right? Every MMO has quests. You need something to get you going forward. And obviously we have lots of issues with the current quests, but I kind of want to talk about a couple of them and what I would like to see happen with the game soon, preferably, but likely not soon. So right now, the depth of missions we have is take object from point A to point B, kill like assassination targets, right? That's all your bounty hunter missions. Or clear an area. And there's some variations on those, which is nice, right? I think probably the biggest variation in any type of missions is the FPS missions. Because we have cave missions, we have wave missions, we have the clear the sites of drugs, which is still really like a, kill X amount of enemies mission. But it really feels like that's it, except for stuff like the private investigator mission, which is absolutely amazing. It is by far, in my opinion, the best mission in the game. The PI mission. But obviously, you do it once and you're done. That's it. And there's nowhere to go from there. You're just immediately into, all right, well, do whatever now. So I'm sort of in this thing of like, I would really, really love if they would start implementing actual story missions. And with that, I don't think it's necessarily going to be too complex, but I also am not an expert in game design. I would really like to see them do something with like Twitch, the NPC, not the platform. So the Twitch missions are also some of the most fun missions that you have. They are, once again, mostly just those very basic types of missions, but the instances that they put you in, especially with the Caterpillar prison break mission, it's one of the best things to do. Having an actual thing where we maybe actually get to interact with that mission giver properly and have them say more than 3 lines, that'd that's what I want. That's what I need. I need something that's not just accept evict illegal occupants, go do it. And there's other mission givers where we could do this as well, right? We have Vaughn. Vaughn's a big one. He could have this sort of thing where, yeah, there's like these actual like scripted missions that we can follow through with. Now there is also we do get the dynamic events, and the dynamic events are also missions, and they're quite good. I don't think any of the dynamic events are bad. I mean, we just did 9 Tales Lockdown, and it was fine. There is not. No PTU right now. And then, yeah, like doing stuff like Siege of Orison is awesome. So I love those because they are much more interactive types of missions, multiple goals, right? Like it takes a long time to complete or whatever. But even having something like having a multi-part mission that's like pick up delivery from point A, take to point B where there are enemies, and it becomes like a wave mission to make, like the object has to be there for X amount of time or something, and then go to point C and do something else. Something like that would be more interesting too. It's just all the missions are really, really basic right now. And obviously I assume they intend to make the missions significantly better in the future. But right now there's nothing to do except mine, trade, or do missions. You know what I mean? Nah, more than the drug mission. I don't think there's just not really any depth to the mission system yet. Or the things that have had depth have been removed or have been abandoned, like the PI Wanted mission. We used to have, I haven't seen them exist for ages and ages, but I do recall there being like escort missions. I don't know if you guys remember this. There was like a freelancer would like go throughout a section and you would escort it and enemies would spawn and whatever. But even just adding more types of missions like that, like having the derelicts was really cool, but it's just another evict illegal occupants or pick up boxes, right? Maybe one of the derelict missions is nice. Those were puff. Where we actually have to kind of investigate what happened to the crew. That was okay, but it was literally just right-click search body, and that was it. Whereas like PI Wanted, you had to actually think, right? You were doing proper investigation. That was nice. I like multi-stage missions that carry over between missions and logins, logouts. Yeah, exactly. Which it feels like we should be able to do because we have the certificate system, right? We have the reputation system. It feels like you could do it through those and it not be necessarily too hard. Also, obviously, anytime I mention like do new missions, obviously it's going to take time for them to do those. But I feel like it's something that's really missing in the game right now, even in its early stage, where it's just there's nothing but grind. It'd be nice for there to be some other fun things to do that aren't just the dynamic events. I would like multi-stage missions that carry... Oh, I already read that. What about a solo version of like the Siege event? Not as big, smaller, but add some length to it. Yeah, that's kind of what we're thinking. And that could be where they're going. So we know that they're going to be recreating... Or they're going to be reusing the platforms that they're using for Siege of Orison elsewhere on Crusader, which firstly is amazing because now we're finally going to have places to jump down to Crusader that isn't Orison. And we sort of get more of a feel for the planet. Obviously, it's still just going to be red gas, but you know what I mean. It's going to be a little bit more fleshed out, which is nice. But yeah, think of like a single lieutenant and iffy mission would be great. But imagine if you had a mission giver that was like, start with a delivery mission, one delivery mission. Cool, you've gained my trust. Go do an evict illegal occupants. Cool, you've gained my trust. Now you've got this unique mission that's tied to just them, and it has more lines, like more actual scripted lines. That'd be great. But it does make me wonder if, like, is it worth putting in the time for these? Like, yeah, I want these more in-depth missions, but is it worth putting in the time for them when we don't have all of the mechanics in? And I feel like we have enough of the base mechanics in, and we know enough about what day-to-day life in the game is going to be in the future that something like this could be implemented soon. There was that one comment in chat the other day, every streamer I go into is doing bunkers, so much fun. Yeah. Like, I really do enjoy doing bunkers, but it is just a grind. It's nothing but a grind. And the reason I think so many people do bunkers is because they are the most unique grindable mission, right? Like, who really cares? Like, doing bounties over and over and over again. Not player bounties, like NPC bounties would get incredibly boring. Didn't they also say they'll be developing the UGFs? Yes. So, in CitizenCon, I believe, specifically, they're going to be doing something with the UGFs. They're completely rethinking them. So a lot of this talk could be stuff that they're about to do in the future. We could be seeing a mission overhaul happening very soon. I just really hope that they do take into account the actual fun missions like PI wanted and evolve them sooner rather than later. I'd like to see contact type missions, mine X amount of this ore, etc. Like a mining tutorial, mining leading to advanced mining with gadgets. Yeah, 100%. One thing as well, though, is it literally just, like, it's just missions. I don't know if that makes sense. In every other MMO, you've got things to do that isn't quests, you know? If you go to max level World of Warcraft, you'll do your dailies, but then you've also got profession-related stuff you can do to make yourself better, which right now, all we have is mining and trading, really. Maybe PvP bounty hunting is stuff you can do outside of missions. But what else is there to do? We've talked about, I really, really want to make sure that there is, well, make sure, because I'm a developer, apparently. I really am hoping that we get a relatively in-depth crafting system, because that's something you can do outside of missions. That's cool. That's awesome. Something to do. It matters. So you don't just feel like you are on the grind constantly. I'd like to see FPS office building raids on Arcorp. I'm not 1,000% sure, Normus, but I think they're coming. I believe it was in a monthly report. They mentioned something about bunkers on Arcorp. But don't quote me on that. And I agree. I would love to see that. I think they have so much included, and they're banking on it working for 3.18, and that's why, to me, it seems like they're kind of given up on this current version only, because they know the fixes are in 3.18. That's my hope for at least. Sure. But this is less about, like, bug fixes and stuff, and it's more about features being a bit more fleshed out that they've shown they can flesh out, and it's absolutely fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, it is raspberry cordial, yeah. Best part of crafting is that it would make mining anything other than quant potentially worthwhile. Yeah. Crafting system fixes a lot of things, but just having an in-depth crafting system and then also having an actual player economy means that you're not just doing missions all the time. And it's just not there. It's just only missions 100% of the time. That's it. Right? And once again, obviously, you can do mining, you can do trading. But it's just money sinks. Like, it's just get money, that's it. There's no goals outside of get high reputation, really. And, like, obviously, having fun is a goal in of itself, and it's a goal that I do all the time. But it's become more and more clear to me that the vast majority of players need, like, UEC incentive to do anything. We would need skill-based items, need a license to use different types of gear. Not necessarily. So we were talking, one thing you could do with crafting is literally just make better versions of things that exist. Right? 10% better versions. Because eventually you're going to get into a point where a small advantage is worth a lot of UEC, but it doesn't completely break balance. Like, if both of us have a ship gun, yours does 100 damage, but mine does 102 damage, right? Like, total, whatever. I'll pay a lot for that little extra amount, but your skill can still completely destroy me. You know what I mean? So I think that's what I would likely think crafting would end up being, but I mean, They could go so many different ways. 317X is totally a transitional patch, but 318 will be bad in the sense that the PS will not add anything in gameplay except for new bugs, so I have my hopes on 319. Well, a lot of people are forgetting that that PS is needed for salvage and cargo refactor. So, like, yes, PS won't affect us, but it will because we're getting new features with it. But yeah, we will definitely get new bugs. Hopefully some bugs will never appear again, but we'll definitely get new bugs. I wonder what will happen with it. Could be the worst patch of all time, could be the best patch of all time, could be a nothing patch. I am more excited for CitizenCon and IAE than I am for 319, honestly. Started playing all the criminal side and learning there's a ton in the game that they did make. I just hadn't been using it. Now me, Vaughn, and Rudo are tired. True. Endeavor does that, yes. Ship component upgrades, modding. Yeah, like we've had all of these sort of like allusions to crafting and like upgrades and modding and stuff, but they haven't talked about it for years. And so it's like, well, what is that going to look like? Because it's going to be a much more important part of everyone's daily playthrough than I think people realize. Not just the crafting, but the effects that it has on trading, the effects that it has on mining, the effects that it has on mercenary work. It becomes very important. So, yeah, hopefully that happens. Unfortunately, anti-PvP people think CS equals Griefar. There is a whole game loop for being crim. It's good and it should be there. The attitude of CS players needs to change. I really don't want this to become another PvP episode because we've already done 2 on that. But yes, I agree. PS and 318 will be the very basic version, not even full fleshed out static server meshing, and there won't be more missions because that would make bug tracking a lot more complex. No, yeah, there won't. Well, sorry. There are... It does sound like we are going to be getting new missions. We're going to be getting likely missions for salvage specifically, is what they're alluding to. But they're not 100% sure it's going to come into the patch. They're waiting. But yeah, it sounds like we actually will be getting new missions. So that salvage can be more than just kill a thing in salvage. It can be actually find a thing in salvage. But yeah, I just feel like every other MMO, the questing and mission part of the game is significantly more complex, but also significantly more fun. And also somehow not as much of a core experience in the game. I don't know if that makes sense. It'd also even just be cool if, like... So we have Dooley, we have Commander Rust. We've got the mission givers that are already in game, like Constantine Herson, Vaughn, all of them, right? But they don't do anything. They don't really do anything at all, except be a point to grab the mission. And then the mission itself feels super empty. Like, imagine if the Twitch mission... So you still go to Twitch, right? You talk to her, gives you the mission after you decide the mission, and you take the one for the caterpillar. You then go to start the mission. Twitch is talking to you through the ear, right? And now you have like a lot more dialogue there, and it feels a lot cooler. You do the whole thing where you rescue a bunch of people, but then you actually get the option of killing or rescuing the guy who's like a bad boy. And now you have like negative reputation with Twitch because you saved them instead of killed them. But now you've got like extra quests that have unlocked, like extra missions that have unlocked. There's just no complexity, I guess. I think WoW is a bad game to compare to. You should look at Sea of Thieves. Well, I mean, even with Sea of Thieves, it'd be nice to get stuff that is like, yeah, just more like story animation stuff. I want to be able to talk to an NPC who just helped me shoot a bunch of guys. You know? Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe it's just my complaint is literally like, I just want to play the game more. And like, of course, I want more complexity in this game. I assume everyone does, at least in terms of the actual experience. Yeah. I don't know. I keep alt-tabbing out to type and my tanks keep getting smoked, but I'd rather chat more sim-like, actual sim-like. Bruh. Like, there's a limit to sim-like though, and for it to still be fun, especially with a game that's got, you know, ground, like, run to your ship, fly the ship somewhere else, get out of ground vehicle. You can't go, like, too hard on the sim, or it's way too much. Came from Sea of Thieves. If they can implement the stories and still have the PvPVE with that, will be awesome. Yeah. To an extent, not armor level. Yeah, armor level would be way too much. Way too much. I think Clancy needs a water. Need a water, buddy? I think she needs a water. But yeah, that's my main thing. I think the dynamic events are a step forward, and they are kind of what I would like to see. But I would also like to see a lot more basic dynamic events. Like Jump Town and Nine Tails Lockdown feel like basic dynamic events where it's just very... They are things that could run often. Right? Siege of Orison is a very special dynamic event, and I'd like it to stay that way. Xenothreat is a very special dynamic event. I'd like it to stay that way, so you don't come up against those very often. But if we had more dynamic events, because they really are just missions that happened once a day, once every couple of days, like mining-related dynamic event mission that I have been waiting for and will relate for literally my entire life. Wait for? Relate? I don't know. Words are hard. Running them randomly would be good, but yeah, I don't know why they don't. Like specifically Jump Town and Nine Tails Lockdown, because I don't think those are causing issues. You know what I mean? Yeah, true. Actually, true. Australia. On the whole, Siege is great. There's nothing like it in any other game. It could do with a few tweaks, but it's a good second attempt at the moment. Yeah. I think concept-wise, Siege of Orison is amazing. Right? And the more and more that they get it right, it's going to be great. I like the idea of the secret objective, and the fact that they still haven't acknowledged this, as far as I can tell, they haven't acknowledged the secret objective anywhere on like social media or like advertising for the event. So it is kind of cool that there is like this secret thing here. Obviously, most players know about it now. At least most players that do Siege know about it now. But I don't know. I like it. It's kind of cool. It'd also be nice if a mission giver comes to you instead of just a Moby message saying, come visit me. Like you're in Area 18, some corporate guy talks to you and asks for your help. Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. More NPC interactions in general would be nice. Rather than just either always talking on Commlink or like... Yeah, I don't know. How was the secret objective first found? It must have been a leak. It's too specific. No. So if you land on top of it after it fails, Dooley says, like literally says, hey, it looks like they were downloading something, but you were too late. And so it doesn't take very long for you to extrapolate from that. Well, let's try to get there earlier in the next one, right? So it was found within the first couple of playthroughs, but it's still kept secret, right? Because until you actively do it, until you or like land on there, Dooley says nothing. Mostly have no effect on the general running of the verse. Yeah, which is nice. And I like that. I would also like if we can get some non-Nine Tails lockdowns. You know what I mean? Like some generic pirate lockdowns or something that maybe aren't as brutal with like an interest at the end. It was a 2-hour timer, so you could potentially make it before a timed out. There you go. I'm imagining the fluidity of COD and at Siege of Orison would be so epic. It'd be insane, 100%. When we're supposed to be able to do player bounties inside neutral zones, meaning if you held a player bounty, you could kill him anywhere, he was never protected. Yes, the issue with that is like all of the different and many bugs, as well as griefing opportunities there would be if you allowed that to happen right now. So for right now, it's better just to not let that happen. But yeah, we are supposed to be able to like chase bounties down on like Area 18. Not that there'd be many places to run, but yeah. Do you think they're going to change people shuttle rushing the endpoint to force people to do it all sequentially? No, because you're not supposed to do it sequentially, Lethius. The whole thing with the secret objective is you are supposed to rush admin. Like the strategy that they have made is you want people to rush admin while everyone else does Solanke and Solanke, Brushwood, and Hartmoor. It is not designed to be 1, 2, 3, 4. It's designed to be 1. Go ahead, do what you want. It's also why there's places to land Pisces on Hartmoor, right? Would love to see missions which just involve normal citizens, like politics, a rich CEO hiring you to take out an opponent, or said opponent hiring you as a bodyguard to prevent this. Even better if each side is played by a player with a mission on good and grim side. Well, that'd be one good thing that I'd like them to do is like, it's quest chains, right? Quest chains are the biggest thing. Because just, the idea is like, if you give me, here is political leader. Well, here's Konstantin Herson. Realistically, here's Konstantin Herson, and he's not having a good time with Bering right now. There's one particular director of Bering's like messing him up. So look, first thing I'm gonna get you to do is some corporate sabotage. Now that you've done the corporate sabotage, I want you to do. I want you to intercept some trade goods. Now that I know I can really trust you because you've been doing crimes for me, I'm now going to give you an assassination. But in all of these instances, there's actual interactions with Constantine, right? And with the guys on the other side too. Just something a bit more fun. You often end up with those that rush just stuck sitting doing nothing for 40 minutes, which seems a terrible game loop. Well, they can always backspace, literally. Like, the whole point of Siege of Orison is you're supposed to go in with teams. And so anytime you're not going in with teams, it's going to be worse than when you do. Could be the reverse. Orison security have cornered Ninetales and you have to help defend the gang on some moon outposts. Yeah. Stuff like that would be cool. I am still surprised as well, once again, mission-wise, that there is no help the Ninetales as part of Siege of Orison. That's a fair assumption, Lethius, yeah. But yeah, they're there for the same reason that the other ones are around everywhere. It's just alternate strategies to getting to each platform. Haxon Herald. God damn it. But yeah. I'm really hoping with CitizenCon we get some news on a new dynamic mission. Dynamic event, because last year we got 3, right? Yeah, last year we got 3. And then we've gotten Siege of Orison this year and that's it. And it'd be nice for them to flesh that out a little bit because it feels like it's the thing they want to continue doing forward. I'm still waiting for that Gold Rush dynamic event. I will get my mining dynamic event, goddammit. Yeah, 100% Lethius. Like I guess, yeah, my concerns aren't like super big in terms of them expanding mission content. Because they're already showing that they do want to do that. It's just, I feel like they haven't done, Like, they've taken all these new locations and given them just boring missions. Like, how absolutely sick is the downed reclaimer, right? On Microtech. It's an absolutely amazing location. But the actual content you do there is boring. It's kill 8 dudes or grab 3 packages. Right? That's boring. I think a ton is going to be happening real soon. Thus them getting quiet, moving to UK, new office, Squadron 42 advancement. And when I went to Orison, Cousin Crows, my Javelin shows up as a location to accept items. I think although we're excited, we're about to get our socks blown off. Possibly. I will say the thing with the Javelin, that's just a database issue. That almost 100% has nothing to do with like any surprise or anything. But there are big days coming ahead. We've got... they've just started moving into the Manchester office, which is a massive office. It is absolutely huge. That's going to be exciting. They've even started using the motion capture studio. Anna went and did a recording session the other week. I mean, this week, actually. Was it this week? Might have been the other day. I don't think CitizenCon's going to be insanely eye-opening, but there's going to be some cool stuff to be excited for in there. I think the big thing is going to come... Like, if we're getting any sort of nice news, the big news is going to come at, like, the start of next year. I agree, Pagan, but we haven't seen much of it in-game necessarily this year. But what are the big things that have happened this year compared to last year in-game? In-game. I know, like, a release like Pyro would be absolutely insane when it happens. And it'll be worth multiple years of less releases, but think about it. So this year, we've gotten Siege of Orison. We got... Which is a big deal. Siege of Orison is a pretty big deal. We got... Refueling, which isn't relevant, but it's a future thing. It's not my first IAE, no. This will be my third. Technically my fourth, but really it'll be my third. What else big was this year? Was that really it? Rivers, like nice environment looking things I don't think is like a huge feature. Because it's not a huge environment, like it's not a planet release, right? We've gotten a couple of ship releases. Feature-wise, it's been basically nothing this year, right? Yet, obviously. Salvage is a big one when it comes. Compare that to last year, where we got a flight rework, we got Orison, we got inventory, we got medical, we got refining. No, refining was technically end of 2020. Like station refining. Yeah. So I think like it's a topic we're going to be talking about next week when we do Commlink, is like why are people not really playing right now? Like this very moment. But I do think we're not getting features as much as we were in the last couple of years. But then once again, when we get, you know, all of Pyro, that's worth multiple years of features. You know what I mean? So that'll be like a big, big whammy is the big thing. PS is slowing down the release of new gameplay features, and I mean the release is temporarily on hold, not the development. Yeah. The development is still happening. As well as like stuff like those things getting developed like hacking that got pushed. Right? And I think there's a lot of small features like that that would have made it into this year, but have been pushed back. It's all about these infrastructure changes they need to make. It makes sense. My kids are computer engineers, so I complain to him and he sets me straight. Yeah, 100%. But like, it's not ideal. And in the long run, it probably won't matter. But it is definitely, I feel like for a large portion of the community, 3.18 is a huge patch in that it'll determine whether or not they play at all for the next, like, 8 months. Like, imagine if salvage isn't fun. What if salvage is a boring mechanic? From what I've seen, it looks okay, right? Because it looks, at the very least, as fun as mining is. And I like mining. I think mining's a fun mechanic. But if that's bad, that's going to be the worst. And we're still waiting to hear a bit more on cargo refactor. They've barely mentioned it since the... what's it called? Letter from the... Not editor. Letter from the chairman. They've barely mentioned it. So... everything is lasers and SC at the moment, med, mining, salvage, etc. Yeah, but I was trying to say this yesterday. How would you do hull scraping not lasers? How would you do that tier 0 implementation of salvage not lasers? And then I said, well, imagine if it was like an actual like handsaw. But then I said, you know what? A handsaw would be amazing, so that would actually be kind of sick. 3.18 more about making sure the alter code for PES is functional. We'll see what happens for salvaging cargo refactor as cargo refactor is needed for salvage. No, I understand, Pagan. Like, I know that's what it's about. And I'm going to continue playing because I still have fun right now, right? But that's what I'm saying. I think for a lot of players, if the patch for 3.18 is bad, and I'm not just saying like in the first week is bad, right? I'm saying if like 2 months down the line, 3.18 is a bad patch, you're going to see a lot of people just not playing at the end of the year, which really probably won't matter super much for CIG because new players will still play. But it's not great. You don't want to lose players anytime. Hammer and chisel. That'd be so sick. Why is it hull scraping instead of component salvage? Component salvage is more complex because you need to redo a bunch of stuff with like every vehicle in the game. Like literally. Hull scraping is much easier to get in there. Well, no, so PES is a necessary step without much visual difference. Salvage and cargo refactor is a big difference in terms of like what is actually coming into the game. Even if cargo refactor is just physical cargo, that changes, like not what we thought it would be. If it's just physical cargo, that changes so many things. Oh shit, a 28-month resub from Death Rat Squid. Look at this guy waiting on me to finish Commlink so we can go play Valor. Gonna play some Valorant after. You know what Star Citizen needs? Star Citizen needs a 5v5, 25 round FPS mode. They need it to be good because there are some good titles coming out that people may jump to. I don't think any of those actually take place of Star Citizen though. Like there was the whole thing of like when Starfield got like not leaked. When they started spoiling stuff for Starfield, people were like, oh, it's gonna beat Star Citizen. It's like they're completely different games. You know what never beat World of Warcraft? The single player Final Fantasy games. Crazy. I know, right? Wild. If they wanted, they could make components drop randomly the same as cargo does. That'd be an interesting way of doing it. And it does make me think, why haven't they done that? Siege of Arson does start in an hour, but you know what else starts in an hour? My second round of Valorant. Get Valorant to work on my PC, switch to Windows 11, including install, just can't make it work. Interesting. Yeah, I have deliberately stayed away from Windows 11 as much as possible. And luckily, I still am away from it. Yeah, so there'll be a point, Lethus, where you can get components from salvage. But tier 0 salvage is just going to be hull scraping. So, yeah. That's the thing. But yeah, like, Starfield's going to be fun. But I don't think there's any releases coming out anytime soon that are actually anything like Star Citizen. Like, if No Man's Sky was going to release soon, yeah, that'd be a competitor. You know what I mean? But the game's already out, so... you know, that's sort of that. So I think this might be a short Commlink today. I just wanted to mainly talk about some stuff about missions. Next week, though, is probably going to be a big one. Like I said, next week we're going to be talking about why the hell is no one playing Star Citizen right now? Where are all the players? Because we have... someone pointed out on my Discord, it's like, yeah, the player count is much worse right now. And that's just like a normal thing for the year of Star Citizen. But it is worse right now than it was this time last year. By like a fair margin. We can't see the actual numbers of people playing, but we can infer from talk about the game. We can infer from videos about the game, streaming about the game, all that sort of stuff. So there's ways for us to infer that there's much less people playing the game by how much actual noise the game is bringing up. It would be nice to know that. I want to hear about how Clancy is going to take over the world given he is a Triffid. Is that a thing? I haven't been playing it all those 5 to 6 hours a day, yeah. So hopefully 318 ends up not being trash. That's the takeaway. But yeah, more missions, more complex missions. I mean, even like having a mission like the Hadesian artifact thing that they were kind of showing us last year would be nice. Having more of that. Or just giving more meaning to the missions. You know? Yeah. And that's about it. I don't think we have anything else to talk about. So we're gonna end the stream there, guys. That's gonna be the end of Commlink, and that's gonna be the end of stream. Bit of a short Commlink. I'll still post it up on YouTube. And yeah. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for joining me for some Ninetales Lockdown. Thanks for joining me for Commlink.